All right, guys, any of you management nerds out there should be fairly intrigued with Dev Journal 8 vets and vet clinics. And this time we've actually got 3 developers here. Shantae has brought in the senior animator Fabian Pianzola, artist Dom Castriuncinas, and gameplay lead programmer James Lockett. And these 3 guys actually start out with speaking about ensuring safety. And that's basically what the veterinarian is there to do. So it says they know the best way to tend, cure, and if need be, recapture your animals. They can also research information on species in their downtime. So that's kind of another big part of this. If they don't have a lot going on, if you don't have an injured animal or a sick animal, researching genetics and all of that stuff, that is going to be a part of this game as well. And Dom goes on to say, as in any zoo, the veterinary's primary role is to safeguard the physical well-being and health of your animals. But in Planet Zoo, we're taking steps a little further. The vet will also be able to perform research tasks in their labs to learn and improve the efficiency and ways animals can be treated for an illness, ensuring that they are healthy, and most importantly, improving your zoo rating. So what they also mention in this in this dev journal is the guests will be able to tell, and you may have heard this before, but the guests will be able to tell, and your rating will not be as good if the animals are not in good health. So if they see a lot of sick animals or an injured animal, maybe got into a dominance fight, has not being cared for in a timely manner, that drops the rating. Less people come to the zoo, less donations. So all of that ties in. This is like your veterinary roles are not something, not something you can just pass on. It's not like, not having a janitor or maybe letting a ride break down in Planet Zoo. This is, as far as your management side goes, this is a pretty big consequential type item. And it says veterinarians can transport animals to and from different habitats and to the vet clinic. They also visit the animals in the habitats to learn more about them. So we know the veterinarians will actually be out in the field, in the enclosures, via the staff gates, staff doors, staff paths. They won't just sit inside the vet clinics waiting for an injured animal call. They said they also visit the animals in the habitats to learn more about them before conducting in-depth research on their species in the research center. It is important for your zoo to have a good research rating so you can unlock access to new animals and enrichment items. A happy veterinarian is a fast vet. If your staff member gets paid a good wage and is trained up, they will be fast at healing your animals. If an animal escapes for whatever reason, the vet is the only staff member with the right training to tranquilize the animal with a blow dart and capture them so they can be safely returned to their habitat. Unfortunately, sometimes an animal dies, be it of old age or low welfare. It is another one of the vet's duties to respectfully dispose of dead animals. If left in an enclosure, seeing a perished animal will have a negative effect on guests before it will turn into a pile of bones and then be sucked up by the muck suck. So you definitely want to get in there. They put an emphasis on if an animal does die in your care, you can assign a vet to go and dispose of the animal and, remove it from the enclosure. And, so that is kind of a part of that. And James follows up Fabian and says, that's right. You might be able to last some time without the need for a veterinarian, but they're the only ones who can help our animals when they come under illness or injury from a fight. So reiterating again Fabian's point, none of the other staff members can help a hurt or dying animal. That is the sole responsibility of your vets. So really, really interesting stuff. And then Dom says, while knowing the exact number of veterinarians you should add to your workforce to ensure the constant well-being of your animals can be tricky to predict due to the large number of random environmental reasons your animals might fall ill. A good starting point would be to hire at least a couple of them from the very beginning and add more as needed when you feel they aren't able to handle the workload. In general, though, it could be better to avoid overhiring hire. In general, though, it could be better to over hire if you can afford it, because vets perform valuable research when there are no animals to treat. And he goes on to say, the key factor here is that for a vet to treat an animal, they need to take them to a vet clinic, and there's only room for one animal at a time. They go on to talk about it. That can be a little tricky because there might be multiple animals that you have to send, you might be required to send to a quarantine facility while they wait their turn for the vet. So there's another thing we know. There's different facilities. You've got a quarantine facility, you've got the research center, and you have the vet clinic. So a lot of this stuff is going to come into play. And they said, so you want enough that in the case of a habitat-wide illness, you can cure your animals within a reasonable time. So we're talking about multiple vet clinics, especially if a herd, like maybe your wildebeest, they all contract a sickness. They're all going to be sick at the same time. This isn't just necessarily a one-time, one little guy's sick and the rest of them are fine. That's not necessarily always going to be the case. They said also the layout of your zoo is key. Place vet clinics near animal habitats to reduce travel time. Train your staff members to be more efficient at their work, and don't forget to make use of staff paths so they don't bump into large groups of guests wandering about. These small improvements will really build up and improve workflow of your vets. As with other staff facilities we have added to Planet Zoo, we are adding more gameplay aspects to your experience within the game. Rather than the vets just treating your animals right on the spot, there's an extra layer of transporting and treating them in clinics, which makes it not only more immersive, but also presents more challenges when managing the layout of a zoo. So really interesting stuff, guys. They're not just going to go find your animal in the middle of the enclosure, fix it. There's a big cloud of dust, maybe some little blood squirts, and then the animal's fixed. It's a little bit more of a process than that. And then Fabian goes, the vet clinic lets you feel like you are really taking care of your beloved animals. It's an elegant studio to treat many different injuries and diseases on all your animals, from the tiniest baby chimp to the huge male African elephants. All the staff building interiors in Planet Zoo have been created with great attention to detail, and the vet clinic is no exception. It's good fun watching the vets tap on their tablets as they are studying the sick animals. And then they kind of wrap up here with saying the biggest challenge for us regarding the vet clinic was making sure the animals could fit in them, but they have lots of lovely details hidden inside them, so be sure to check every corner. And yeah, guys, so that is a wrap up of Dev Journal 8, Vets and Vet Clinics. And like I said, that really, that is going to be a neat little set of circumstances here, especially for, like I said, your more meteor management guys that really like to figure that stuff out as far as working out your paths and making sure there are vet clinics close, like as far as your compounds and your enclosures go, and the vet is not having to haul animals all the way across the park to get care and get them back in the enclosures, and get them back in tip-top shape as quick as possible. So anyways, guys, let me know what your thoughts are down below on vets and the whole vet clinic idea being brought into Planet Zoo. And don't forget to subscribe to keep up with all this Planet Zoo news and mischief and commentary. And thankfully they're showing us they're not totally dead after Gamescom. They've got some of this stuff ready to go and rolling out. Even with Shantae sick and Bo on vacation, the news continues for now. So anyways, guys, thank you for stopping by and hanging out with me, and I'll catch you in the next video. Thank you. See you guys.